guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video today we are going to be doing I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this jumpsuit. So the first thing I have here is my shoulder to waist, which is 17.5 plus 1 inch, that is 18.5. that is the length here. So the next thing we are going to check is the width here. So we are just starting with the basic bodice, guys. This is just a v-neck but basic bodice is what we are cutting here. The upper one is my bust divided by 4. That's how I got the width, plus like extra 1.5 or 1 inch, depending on what you like to use as your seam allowance. And then the one at the back is also folded into 2 with extension of like 1.5 for my back zipper. So let's just go ahead and draw our basic bodice. Go up to the shoulder, your shoulder divided by 2, mark it here. For me it's going to be 8. Come down here, 1 inch of shoulder slope, and then I'm going to come in here and mark my armhole length. If you don't know how to calculate it, your bust, round your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5, whatever you get is going to be the length here. And then you're going to connect it all the way to the top, all the way to the top like this. And then you're going to go ahead and insert your bust measurement divided by 4, and then you're going to add your seam allowance. Come down to the waist, your waist divided by 4, and then whatever you get plus 2 inches down here. 1 inch of here is 2 inches because you're going to be doing 1 inch of darting and 1 inch of seam allowance. After that, connect it to the chest like this, right? So now go back up to the neck to mark your neck width, which is 3 is what I'm going to use here. And then I'm going to connect it to the 1 inch of shoulder slope, just like this. And then after that, you're going to come down here, mark 1 inch for the back neckline like this. And then for the front neckline, it depends on you what you want to use as your V. So you can place the tape at the tip of your shoulder and measure down to where you want it to be. So for me, let's say I decide to use about 8.5, which will land me somewhere here. All I have to do is just to go ahead, put my ruler like this, and then I'm going to connect from this point here all the way. Guys, if you just check on yourself where you would want it to be. Place the tape on your neck and then measure down to the center of your chest. If you feel like 8.5 is too low, you can bring it up to 7. It depends on you. So now that is done, I'm going to also go ahead and give this part here a curve for my armhole. And then all I have to do is just to go ahead and start cutting. Remember, for my dart, I'm just going to come in here by your nipple to nipple divided by 2, which is going to be 4. But I'm going to add half an inch to it here, which is somewhere 4.5. And then I'm going to mark my shoulder to my nipple line, which is at 12. So my dart is going to stop at 13 in front here. So all I have to do is just to take this line up to this point, this 4.5 line here, take it up to this point, and then mark half an inch on this side and then half an inch on this other side. So this is going to be my dart. But at the back, I'm going to still place this same dart at this point again, the same way it is here. But instead of stopping at my 1 inch before my nipple line, it's going to stop all the way to my chest line, remember. So that is all I have to do. So let me go ahead now. I'm going to cut this off here, cut off the armhole, the shoulder slope, the back neckline, and then the front neckline. Guys, this is it here. You see, I cut out everything. But for the front, before I cut any other thing now, I'm going to go ahead and separate it. So for the back, what we're going to do is that this is the back. You see, I split it open for the zipper allowance. What you're going to do is go up at the back here, because you don't want it to bulk up, right? So come up here 1 inch, and then you're going to blend it into the side, because your back half length is shorter than your front half length. So you need to reduce the length at the back. Go up 1 inch and then reduce it like this. You see, it still remains the same size here on the side, but the center back is where you're going to reduce, because if not, your zip is going to bulk up. So go ahead and cut that off. So I'm going to cut it off now, and I still know that my dart is still at the same point where it was initially. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark it here. You see, so this is going to be my dart all the way to the chest line here. So this is my back dart. Let me go ahead and notch it so that I'll know it at this point. So I'm going to put that on the 2 sides of the back, right? The same here, just like that. So when I finish now, I'm going to pick a dart on the 2 sides of the back like this, all the way to the armhole line. So let's set the back aside. It's done. So now the next thing is to go ahead and cut out this neckline in front. So I'm going to go ahead now, cut it off. But once you cut it off, the next thing is going to be to go to the armhole and reduce it a little. This is going to help the sleeve to relax better. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this piece off now. So guys, now we're going to cut the pant. So you see, I've just folded the fabric into two. So to cut this pant now, the width I have here is just my my hip divided by 4, which is, my hip is 48, divided by 4 is going to be 12, plus 1 inch of seam allowance, 13, and then I have extra 3 inches here. It's basically your hip divided by 4, which is 12 for me, divided by 4 again. That's the extra 3 inch, which is for the crotch. It's just for that small part that we normally give that looks like a curve like this, you understand? That extension to the crotch, that's how you're going to get it. So your hip divided by 4, whatever you get, let's say you get 10, divided by 4 again, that's how you're going to get that small space here. So now I'm going to go ahead and mark half an inch here, because every seam allowance here, you need to account for it, because this is a jumpsuit, right? If I take it away from my normal crotch measurement, my pant will ride up too much, and then you start digging in your crotch area. So now you're going to mark your half an inch first, and then you're going to go ahead and mark your waist to your, so this is going to be my waist to my hip, which is at 10, first line. My waist to my crotch, which is going to be 12. The same way you're going to calculate it is like how I said, your hip divided by 4. Sorry, my hip is 48, divided by 4 is 12. So that is how I got the 12 here. So my crotch is going to be at 12. So use your ruler and mark a straight line. So this is the line. So this is first the hip, and this is the crotch. So now, or you can just sit on a flat surface and then measure from your waist to the chair. That's another way you can get this crotch. Come down to the hip line, this second line here. Your hip divided by 4, which is 12 for me, plus the 1 inch of seam allowance I added initially. Mark it. Go back to the top here and mark it again. That is total of 13 for me, right? And then I'm going to connect the two of them together just like this. And then I'm also going to bring it down to the lower line here, to the crotch line. And then once it's done, you're going to go up here and then do your waist divided by 4. So whatever it is, mark it. And then you're going to add 2 inches to it, 1 inch of that and 1 inch of seam allowance. Now what you're going to do is that you're going to use your curved ruler to connect from your waist to your hip, just like that. You see, I've blended it in like this. And then once that is done, the next thing you're going to do is to go on this your crotch line with the extension of that 3 inches. I'm going to make sure that is that still that 3 inches that I have here. I'm going to just go ahead and give it a curve just like this, my crotch. And that is basically all I have to do now. The next thing is just to go at this upper part here, and then I'm going to add my nipple to nipple divided by 2, which is 4, plus half an inch. Mark it here, and then I'm going to just extend it all the way from my waist to my, it's not going to get to your hip, 2 inches before your hip, which is going to be somewhere here. So my dart length is going to be about 8 inches. So my dart is going to stop 2 inches before your hip line. My hip is at 10, my dart is stopping at 8, half an inch on this side, and then half an inch on this side. Remember, this is the front panel that we're doing here. So let me go ahead and also notch it so that I won't make a mistake, right? I've notched it now. So now all you have to deal with is how to narrow the leg of the pant. If you want yours, let's say you're working with crepe and you want to have the whole flowiness of the pant, just leave it this way, and all you have to do is just to cut this upper part. But I'm working with Akara. If I leave this leg like this, it will be too much. So what I'm going to do is just to go ahead to narrow the leg. I'm just going to measure from my waist to my knee. Most people, it might be 22 to 24, somewhere around that. So let's just mark mine here. And then the pant length, wherever that is for you. So how you're going to calculate it is basically your shoulder to your waist, and then minus it from the full length of the pant. Whatever you get is going to be the length of the pant. So now what you're going to do is, so let's say that is somewhere here for me, right? Somewhere here at this point. So what you're going to do is just to, so guys, once you mark from your waist to your knee, and then from your knee to the end of the pant, the next thing you're going to do is just to go ahead on your knee. This is just to taper in the leg of the pant. Take away like 2 inches. And then on the on this outer part, I'm also going to do the same thing. I'm going to take away like 2. If you want, you can do 1.5. It depends on you. And then at this lower part here, you can do 1.5. Like at the knee, you can do 2 inches, 2 inches. And then down here, you can do 1.5, 1.5 on both sides of the end here. just to bring it in a little bit more, but I think I might just stick to the 2 inch all the way from the hip down. So now all you have to do is just to connect from here to this part here, and then do the same on the other side. From this part here, connect it all the way, and then now from here you're going to connect to this point, and then connect from here again to the side here, just like that. We finish the pant. You see what I did? So once you finish this upper part here, all this part that we just did here, the next thing you're going to mark, just to bring in the leg of the pant a little, so it's not too wide, because if you look at her own, it's not like really wide. Just measure from your waist to your hip, which is sometimes 22 to 24, depending on the person, your waist to your hip, and then your waist to the end of the pant. And then what you're going to do is take away 1.5 here, 1.5 here, 1.5 here, 1.5 here, or 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches. I'm doing 2 inches because my hip is wide and it's already making the leg of the pant wide. A smaller person can get away with 1.5 because already the leg of the pant will not be that wide. But you know, it's the hip that is determining the wideness of this pant. So my hip is wider, that's why my fabric is wider. So that's why I took away like 2 inches on both sides. So now let me go ahead and cut. So guys, you see everything that we cut out. You see, let me move it. You see, we started here, cut this out all the way. This one is out, and then on this other side, this is what we took out. This side, and then I'm going to split this remaining part open because I didn't cut anything because we're using the whole width. Okay. So you see, just this somewhere in between here. So that is basically it. I'm going to set this aside now, and with this here, we are cutting our back panel. So to cut the back panel again, we are going to take the fabric and fold it into 2. So guys, this is it here. You see, I folded my fabric again, placed my back panel, which is this one here. Just, you know it by the marking of the chalk around the corner. So this is the front panel here. I placed it on the back here. So just what I'm going to do is just to go ahead now. I made sure to have about 1.5 here, and then I also made sure to have about 3.5. So whatever you used as the crotch in front, add like half an inch to it for the back. So I have about 3.5 at the back here, you understand? So that's from where this one ended, I have extension of 3.5 here. So let me go ahead and rule a line here. So this is the crotch for the back. The next thing you're going to do is, like, I'm going to come out here by 2 inches from the end of my front panel. This one, from the end of this one here, I came out by 2 inches here, like an extension of 2 inches here. And then after that, I came in from the end of this one here. Now you're going to come in 2 inches. I came in 2 inches, I came out 2 inches. You understand? From the end of this pan, the tip, the end here, which is here, I came in 2 inches, and then I came out 2 inches, which is, I added it back. You understand? This is going to help shape where your butt is going to be. You understand? It's almost like you're adding a dart to it. So now this upper part here, I have about 2.5 or 2 inches here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this line here up, and then I'm going to connect it from this point here to this here. So from this end here to this point here, connect it just like that. So this is the back of my pant. You understand? And then the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to go from here now. I'm going to give it a curve to blend into this part here. So give it a curve for your crotch at the back, and then blend it into this line here. And then after that, the next thing you're going to do is that you're going to make mark for your for the zipper. So it depends on the length of your zip. Know where your zip can stop on this line, and then you're going to extend it by like 1 inch, just like that. This is my zipper allowance. So just like that. And then after that, go ahead and just add maybe like 1 inch on the side of this pant here, like 1 inch like this. Connect it to the waist, 1 inch just like that. After that, just go ahead and keep adding 1 inch all the way from the end of your front panel to the end of the pants, just like that. And then the same thing on the other side here. I'm going to do 1 inch on this other side too, just like that. I'm going to just blend it in, but getting to this point, I'm going to widen it and just blend it into here. I'm not going to do 1 inch here. My 1 inch is stopping at the knee, and then after that, every other thing, I'm just going to freehand it and connect it to the end here. So that is it. All I have to do now is just to go ahead and cut everywhere that I've marked on this pant. I'm cutting it out. So guys, this is it here. Everything about the pants is done. We have 2 pieces at the back, 2 pieces in front. Like I said, just follow the chalk markings that we made. The 1 inch that we added to the side of the back, the 1 inch that we added and then connected to the crotch here, went in here. And then for this part here, you're going to follow after the crotch, your zipper allowance, go up here and then follow the slants that you made here. That is basically your back panel. And then one thing you're going to add is that you're going to come in here at least 4 inches, and then you're going to insert the dart for the back, which is going to be probably like 5 inches long. And then you're going to mark half an inch on this side, half an inch on the other side. And this is the dart for the back, just like that. Notch it. You're going to give it 2 darts at the back. So now I'm going to go ahead and couple the front together, sorry, the upper part together, couple the bottom part together. And then I also wanted to show you guys something. So remember the neckline we were cutting before? It's a V-neck. So if you're not using lining, then you might want to use facing. So for me, I'm going to be using facing for mine. So what I'm going to do is, from one of these pieces that I have here, I'm just going to take the front neckline here. I'm going to just cut a facing for it. So keep it here, just like this. And then I'm going to trace out this same neckline like this on it, the V. And then I'm going to go in for my shoulder slope. Let me take it down a little. This is me cutting a facing for it. If you look at her own, you notice that it looks like it has a facing. And then I'm going to go in like 2 inches, just like that. So this will be my facing. All I have to do is just to cut this part here, and use it to turn over the neckline. So guys, the next thing is going to be for us to trace the flare. So if you look at it, you'll see that my own is shorter, but it depends on you. You can make yours as long as her own. So you're going to take your fabric, fold it into 2 the way I just did. We are cutting 2 at the same time. And then what you're going to do is that you're going to use either 8 inches, which is going to be 4 inches for the front, 4 inch going towards the back, or you can do 5 inches towards the front, 5 inches towards the back. It depends on you, but whatever you decide to use, you're going to take that measurement and then add 1 inch to it, and then place it like that on your tape. So mine is, I decided to use 4, so I just placed it on the I had 4 inches, wrapped it around like this. So now I'm going to mark that 9 inches on this the way it is now. I'm just going to go ahead and mark it. So the extra 1 inch is just for us to be able to turn each side of the lining with half an inch. So that's the 1 inch. So I'm going to just mark it. Once I finish marking it, I'll have a total of 9 inch. So that is what I'm showing you right now. So once it's done, the next thing is going to be to add the length that you want to work with. So whatever length you're working with, remember that you need to add 1 inch to it. So we are cutting the shorter one now. So it depends on you. Mine, whatever you decide to cut, I think mine is about 8 inch or 7.5 for my shorter one. And then you're just going to add up everything. So you're going to add up everything, including the seam allowance that you're going to need for it, and then place back your tape and then mark it just like how we normally mark a circle. So in total I had about 13. That's if I add up everything. So I just used it to mark all the way around to the corner, right? So once it's done like this, I'm going to go ahead and now cut it out. And that's, once I cut it out, I'm also going to cut out the upper part. So guys, now you see I have to split it into 2 because 1 is for each side. So each time we cut it, we're cutting for the 2 sides, 1 for each side, 1 for the other side. So we are done with the shorter one now. So we are going to move over to cut the longer one. So guys, now I'm going to take my fabric, fold it. This time we're cutting the longer one, right? So you can make yours longer like I said before. So fold it into 2, and then you're going to take 1 piece of that short one because that's how we're going to trace it, because we want the waist part of it to be exactly the same as the longer one. The only thing that is going to differ is the length. So take 1 piece like that, place it on a folded fabric, and then make sure that the length you have is what you need. So I extended the longer one by at least 3 inches. That's what I'm trying to show you. So I have at least extra 3 inch added to it. And then, so I'm going to go ahead, after checking it, I'm going to mark it now. And then after marking it, you're going to go ahead and mark the waist part of it. So just use it like that and just mark the waist part of it so that you know where it is on it. So after marking it now, you're going to go back in now, place your tape at the top part, and then use that initial point that you mark. So for me it's 16 to be able to mark round the corner. So you're going to place your tape at the tip and then continue marking 16 all the way around. Guys, I would advise, if you want it to look like her own, increase your length. So you see, I've marked my own now, so both the waist and everything, I've cut it out too. So I'm going to go ahead and also split it into two, just like I did in the previous one. So you're going to take your scissors, split the side open. So once you split it open, you see we have two pieces. This time around it's longer than the previous one by at least 3 inches, right, for each side, but the waist remains the same, but it's just the length that differs. So you see mine is quite short. You can make yours as long as her own. So now what you're going to do is you're going to turn it over with your lining. Go ahead and trace your lining. So if you look at my own now, you see that I've traced out the lining, you see. So trace out your lining, and then you're going to go ahead and take one for each side, right? And then you're going to place it right side facing each other with your lining, and then you're going to just sew the corners. Just this part that I'm showing you now, you're going to sew all the way to that point, and then you're going to come down. All the parts that I'm marking with the chalk are the parts that you're going to sew on your machine. And then once you're done, you're going to go ahead and flip it open from the upper part, like the waist part. Put your hand in there, flip it open, iron it out, right? You're going to do it on all the 4 pieces, like the 2 long ones and the 2 short ones. And once it's done, then you're going to go to join it to the dress. But in the meantime, we're also going to go ahead and cut our sleeve. So to cut the sleeve, I just have my basic sleeve. But guys, if you notice, her own is a puffy sleeve. So what I have here is just my fabric folded into 2. The width is my my armhole divided by 2 plus like 1.5. That is the width of the fabric. The length is going to depend on you what you want. But what I have at the moment is 2.5 at the upper part for my so guys, go ahead and mark the 2.5. This is for the puffy part, and then I'm going to mark 4 inches, which is going to be for my sleeve, my cap height. In total, I have about 10.5 here. If you look at it, you see it's 10.5 because the sleeve is not that long. So 2.5 for the cap height, for the puffy part, and then my 4 inches, and then the rest of the sleeve. So after that, between the cap height, you're going to rule a straight line all the way to the end. Find halfway through, give it a curve above, give it a curve below, and then from the mark halfway through, you're going to connect it to the top of the sleeve. So that is basically how you get a puffy sleeve, right? Just like that. And then now you're going to go to the end of the sleeve and insert your sleeve width divided by 2, whatever it is, add it there. So let's say maybe it's 7, and then add your seam allowance, connect it to the side, and then just go ahead and cut it out. So you're going to cut, once you cut it out, you're going to have 2 pieces, 1 for each side. So you're going to take it at the tip, at the upper part, you're going to gather some of the cloth, right? You're going to gather some of it, and then you're going to spread out the rest of the sleeve and join it normally. And once you're done, fold the end of the sleeve and close it up. So guys, this is what we're working with here, you see. So I've gone ahead and join the pant together. So join the 2 front panel, pick your dart, join the 2 back panel, pick your short dart at the back. You see, I left it open, the part for the zipper, and then that is basically it. So now the next thing I have to deal with is the upper part here. You see, I've finished this one too. I use facing to iron down this neckline. You see, everything is done. So, and then I also join my sleeve like I was explaining. You're going to gather the top part here so that you get this puff sleeve with the 2.5 that we left at the top. And basically this is the sleeve here. And then one thing that you're going to make sure of is that when you measure your waist at the opening here and the waist here, it's exactly your waist. Because guys, see, once you join this thing to the side, if you have to shape it you're going to go back and remove it again and start all over. Like, you're going to remove it, shape it, and then put it back. So it's best to be sure that your waist that you want, the perfect waist that you want for your for the, like, your measurement is exactly what you're working with. So now this is what I have here. You see, like I said, just sew the corners here and then flip it over. So you see, the only part that is open is just this this upper part here. Same with this one here. So now this, I'm going to take it the way it is. Find halfway through it. Like I said, I did 4 in the front, 4 at the back. If you feel like 4 is not enough, you can do 5. And then I'm going to notch it here and make sure that the part with the notch is going to be just directly at the side seam. And then the other 4 inches is going to go towards the front, and the other 4 inches is going to go towards the back. And that will be it for this side here, right? Just go ahead and hold this down with a stitch. Go over to the other side, place the shorter one on top, like how I've done here. Place the shorter one on top of this here. The length I have for the two, so this one here is about 11 inch, but that means when I started is 11.5 because I use half an inch to join the lining, and then I'm also going to use half an inch to join it here. So by the time I'm done, I might be left with, let's say, 10.5. And then for the shorter one, what I have here for the length is about 8 inches. That means I started with 8.5 using half an inch at the bottom here, and then I'm going to remove half when I'm done, so I'll be left with 7.5. So you're going to take the two like this. The same thing, find the center, notch it here, the center of this here, find the center, notch it, and then place it directly where your side seam. You see my side seam here, the notch will be on top of the side seam. Then go ahead, go to your sewing machine, hold it down. Once you finish with the stitch, you now come back again and then take your top, start from the center here. Then you're going to join your top from the center front here all the way towards the back, and then the zipper will the zipper allowance will meet the pant allowance at the back, the zipper pant allowance at the back. So that's basically it. Once you're done, go ahead, insert your zip, hem the leg of your pant, and that will be it. So let me go ahead and couple mine together and I'll bring it back. So guys, this is it here. You see, it's done. Like I said, just place it by the side, half an 4 inch towards the center. I think like 5 will be too much. Maybe do 4.5, but it depends on your waist, right? A smaller person might get away with just 3. A bigger person might get away with just 4.5. But one thing you don't want is to get it to the point where it's touching your dart. No, don't do that. It's like 1 inch away from your dart in front. It will be better, so that it's not like complete, it will not look like complete peplum, right? You still want it to look like it's coming from the side. So that is what we have here. So this is the leg here, like this. So, and then the back, it has the zipper going all the way to the end. And that is basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And guys, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.